fired and forgotten until a life-changing truth was revealed. Discover her amazing comeback. In the small Midwestern town of Maple Grove, Lisa's world crumbled beneath her feet. The factory door swung shut for the last time, not just on her work, but on the identity she'd forged over the past decade. Fired. The word echoed in her mind, a painful reminder of the relentless ticking clock that haunted her nights as she lay awake, heart racing. As a single mother, she faced the terrifying truth. How could she provide for her 2 kids? Guilt tightened around her chest like a vice. The people she'd worked alongside for years seemed to fade into shadows, their camaraderie now distant memories. She felt discarded, unvalued in a society she once thought cherished hard work. Every morning, Lisa pulled on her faded army jacket, its fabric a comforting reminder of pride and service to her country. But now, as she packed lunches for her kids, the weight of despair loomed larger than her fighting spirit. School pickups turned into silent walks filled with shame, not from failure in their eyes, but from her own reflection that echoed feelings of inadequacy. Her laughter felt hollow, and soon even the town's familiar streets, littered with life and hope, transformed into unforgiving landscapes of solitude. Just when it seemed her hardest battle was finding a way to keep her family afloat, her estranged father, Tom, appeared at her doorstep. A community leader with a reputation, he stood under the porch light, rain-soaked and hesitant. "Lisa," he began, but she cut him off, the fire of resentment flaring up. Their past was a tapestry of broken promises and abandoned dreams. Yet in his eyes Lisa saw a flicker of regret. For the first time since she could remember, bitterness wavered, replaced by curiosity and perhaps the chance for healing if only she could let her defenses down. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Refusing to succumb to her circumstances, Lisa decided to visit the local community center. It buzzed with energy, a place where dreams flickered to life. The scent of fresh coffee mixed with laughter and spirited conversation embraced her. Here, people shared stories of loss and resilience, bound by threads of shared struggle. Inspired, Lisa unearthed her entrepreneurial spirit, sketching plans for a small business on napkins, fueled by the idea that maybe she could regain her footing. As her neighbors rallied around her, lending support and encouragement, hope replaced despair. Yet, just as Lisa began to see her dreams take shape, whispers of a hidden sacrifice from her father's past reached her ears, a deployment story full of unspoken bravery she never knew. As secrets unraveled, so did the fabric of their relationship, leaving her with questions, pain, and the promise of reconciliation lingering in the air. Could understanding finally bridge the gap between them? As she carved her path forward and emerged as a beacon of determination, Lisa stood at a crossroads, holding onto the fragile threads of hope and forgiveness. In a world that sought to define worth by success, she dared to rewrite her story, igniting a spark of possibility for herself and her family as they ventured into the unknown. Would they grasp the chance to heal old wounds, or would the weight of their past prove too heavy to bear? Lisa's heart raced as she sat at the corner table in the local community center, her sketches sprawled before her. It was a whirlwind of colored ink and messy scribbles, ideas blooming like wildflowers against the heavy weight of her past. The laughter and chatter around her added a rhythmic pulse to her thoughts, shouldering the fear that had previously paralyzed her. Every sip of coffee ignited her resolve a little more. This was her moment to step forward. This could really work, she muttered under her breath, the words barely breaking the surface of the noise surrounding her. Each napkin held a fragment of her dreams, a bakery, a small shop filled with the scent of fresh bread and pastries, where children giggled over cookies and neighbors gathered for community. As she imagined the possibilities, someone slid into the seat across from her. With a start, Lisa looked up to see a vibrant woman with curly hair and an infectious smile. "Hi, I'm Sarah. I saw you out here sketching away. Got a big plan brewing?" Lisa hesitated, a sliver of doubt creeping back in. Was she ready to share her dreams? But Sarah's energy was magnetic. It drew her in, igniting her own passion. "I want to start a bakery. Baking always lifted my spirits, and I feel like it's time to turn it into something real. Then do it. You have the community's support, Sarah encouraged, her enthusiasm palpable. I'm part of the local business association. We're about to host a small market and I think you should showcase your goods there. It could be the perfect launchpad. Lisa felt exhilarated yet terrified at the thought. A market? Standing in front of people again? The knot of anxiety twisted in her stomach. But then she remembered her kids, their smiles when they tasted her baking. Okay, she said, her voice firmer than she felt. I'll do it. In the following days she poured every ounce of her energy into baking. Flour dust danced in the air as her kitchen transformed into a laboratory of sweet delights. Sifting sugar, whipping eggs, and testing recipes filled her evenings, each element intertwined with newfound hope. Every loaf of bread felt like a brick laid toward rebuilding her life. But amidst the rising excitement of her budding venture, shadows loomed. The whispers about her father's past weighed heavily on her conscience. Late one night, the phone rang. A shaky voice belonging to a mutual friend brought unsettling news. Lisa, I know it's tough, but your dad is trying to reach out to you. He wants to explain he is not the man you think he is. The words struck her like a bolt of lightning. Confusion and anger warred inside her. Could she really believe him after all these years? Did she want to welcome this uncertainty alongside her new venture? As the day of the market approached, Lisa stood at a crossroads again. With every batch baked, the question lingered: was she ready to confront the shadows of her past while stepping bravely into a future she was finally fashioning? Her heart swelled with the embarrassing mix of hope and fear as she checked her supplies one last time. She was about to take the plunge, but what if the revelation about Tom changed everything? Could her newfound drive withstand the potential chaos of family complications? Just then, she caught a glimpse of her children drawing with crayons at the kitchen table, their laughter a sweet melody that pushed her forward. She took a deep breath, stepping into the unknown once more. Would she find strength and forgiveness? Or would old wounds be too deep for healing? The market day was looming, and with it, everything hung in the balance: the pastries, the potential for new beginnings, and the unresolved truth that swirled within her family. What awaited her when the doors opened? The sun peeked over the horizon on the morning of the market, casting a warm glow that filtered softly through the window. Lisa stood in her kitchen, surrounded by the fruits of her labor. The sweet smell of cinnamon rolls wafted through the air, mingling with the rich aroma of coffee brewing. For a moment, she allowed herself to bask in the joy of creation, absorbing the familiar sounds of her children laughing in the living room. They were her motivation. They deserved to see her take this leap of faith. Taking a deep breath, she placed the last batch of muffins in the basket. Each one was not just a baked good. It was a symbol of her hope, her determination, and an offering to the community she longed to embrace. As the clock ticked closer to the market's opening, her excitement mingled with nerves. Would anyone come by her stand? Would they like what she had made? A wave of anxiety washed over her, threatening to pull her back from the edge of this new beginning. "Mom!" shouted her youngest, a mischievous sparkle in his eyes. "Are you almost done? We don't want to be late." His words jolted her back to the present. Lisa smiled, appreciating his eagerness. "Just a minute, buddy. We're almost ready to roll." She hurriedly gathered her things and put the final touches on her displays, arranging everything neatly in her vintage wicker basket. She glanced at her children, their smiles igniting a warmth deep inside her. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they piled into the car, excitement bubbling in the air. Driving to the community center, Lisa couldn't help but envision the possibilities unfolding alongside her dream: a sweet haven that could bring joy not just to her family but to everyone around her. Once they arrived, the sight was overwhelming. The market was already buzzing with life. Colorful booths dotted the landscape like a vibrant patchwork, each showcasing local talent. Lisa parked the car and took a deep breath, feeling the familiar knot tighten in her stomach. "Remember, Mommy," said her daughter, clutching her hand tightly. "You can do it." The simple words wrapped around Lisa like a warm blanket, soothing her frayed nerves. With a smile, she reassured her kids as they walked towards her booth. Together, they set up, laughter and joy merging to brighten the moment as they hung a handmade sign above her little corner. Soon, friendly faces began to wander by. Some stopped, intrigued by the lovely display of pastries, while others chatted with her kids. Encouragement filled the air, breathing life into Lisa's spirit. "They look amazing," someone called out. "What's your secret?" But then a familiar voice broke through. It was Sarah, embracing Lisa with excitement. "You did it. This place is buzzing. The community is behind you." "I'm so nervous," Lisa admitted, glancing at Sarah. "Just keep being you and forget about the rest." Sarah's smile was infectious, and as they talked, Lisa's fears began to wane. Hours passed, and customers came and went. Lisa felt a sense of triumph wash over her. Each compliment fueled her heart. But just as she began to truly relax, she spotted a figure approaching in the distance, tall and somewhat familiar. As he drew closer, her heart sank. Tom, her father. Shock coursed through her. The reality of the past crashing into the present. Memories of hurt, disappointment, and unresolved feelings threatened to drown her newfound joy. What was he doing here? And what was she supposed to say? The bustling market began to fade away as her focus narrowed solely on the man who had once filled her life with confusion. Sarah, catching on to her panic, squeezed Lisa's shoulder reassuringly. "You don't have to face this alone." But as Tom stopped a few feet away, uncertainty hung in the air like a thick fog. Would she seize this moment to confront the past? Or would she pull away, enveloped in the comfort of her newly sparked hope? With a pounding heart, Lisa realized she was standing on the brink of two paths. Would she find a way to mend years of distance and hurt, or allow it to consume her still? Whatever the choice might be, the market was a new beginning, a moment where everything could change again. How could she face this truth? Would she dare to hear what he had to say? The silence stretched between Lisa and Tom, palpable and thick. Lisa's mind raced with a whirlwind of emotions. Anger, sadness, confusion. She had spent years trying to find peace with his absence, and now he stood before her. An unexpected specter from a past she thought she had put away. "Lisa," Tom began, his voice hesitant. The familiar tone stung, a reminder of countless arguments and unfulfilled promises. She felt her heart race, pounding in her ears. "Why are you here?" The words slipped out before she could catch them. Anger flashed in her eyes, and she fought to keep her voice steady. "I came to see how you were doing." "I heard you were here at the market," he replied, hands fidgeting in front of him, a sign of nervousness that had been all too common in their past interactions. Lisa's throat tightened. He had no right to inquire about her life after being absent for so long. "Do you even care?" "Of course I do," he said sharply, then softened. "I'm sorry for everything. I was wrong to leave." The distant laughter of her children echoed around her, a stark contrast to the heavy atmosphere hanging between them. Lisa stole a glance at them, her little ones laughing and chatting with other market-goers. They were her world, her reason to keep moving forward. But now she felt like an anchor in place, tethered by feelings she thought she could overlook. Sarah's hand still rested on her shoulder, a steadying force. "You're handling this beautifully, Lisa," she whispered. Lisa could feel Sarah's concern and support wrapping around her, urging her to choose strength. "Beautifully?" she murmured under her breath. Her heart was torn between wanting to confront Tom and the urge to shield her children from the chaos of their family's history. "Look, I know I messed up. But can we talk? Just for a minute?" Tom's voice was laced with desperation. Lisa inhaled deeply. A part of her wanted to scream at him, to unleash years of pain and unresolved hurt. But on the other hand, she was tired. Tired of carrying the weight of anger alone. Tired of letting his mistakes dictate her happiness. "Whatever you have to say, you can say it in front of my kids," she replied, trying to muster courage. The firmness in her voice surprised even her. Tom ran a hand through his hair, his expression fragile. "I've been thinking a lot lately. About you, about us. This isn't easy for me. I made a lot of bad choices and I don't expect you to forgive me. I just want you to know that I've tried to be better. I wanted to be here." The sincerity in his voice caught Lisa off guard. It was raw, real, and it crackled with the unresolved pain she had buried deep within her. "Be better," she echoed, feeling a surreal mix of emotions flicker through her. "And what does that mean exactly?" Tom opened his mouth and then hesitated. For once, it seemed he didn't have an answer ready. Lisa felt the tension of the moment haul at her heart, like a tug of war between the past and her future. Because the past doesn't just vanish, does it? she whispered, mostly to herself. At that moment, she saw a flicker of something in Thomas' eyes, a glimmer of sadness perhaps. She couldn't help but wonder if he understood just how much he had affected her life. Her children resumed their laughter not far away, but the confrontation held a weight that felt monumental. Though apprehensive, Lisa felt a spark of determination flare up within. Before she could lose her nerve, she steadied her breathing and prepared to hear more. If we're going to talk, let us do it now. It's time to stop avoiding each other. But as the words left her mouth, a commotion erupted a few booths over. Shouts and cries pierced through the air, drawing the attention of everyone nearby. Fear shot through her, instincts kicking in, urging her to check on her children. Could she face the storm brewing between her and Tom right now? Or would the chaos of the market pull her away from this critical moment of truth? What would she do next, with the past and her hopes colliding in a single moment? Lisa's breath hitched as the shouts grew louder, frantic voices buzzing with urgency like a swarm of bees. Her children. The thought sent her heart racing. She stole one last look at Tom, whose expression morphed from apology to alarm, then dashed through the throng of market-goers. The bright sun bore down, spilling warmth over the scene, but the air around her felt thick with foreboding. She pushed past friendly faces now filled with worry, her maternal instincts taking over. Every step she took quickened her heartbeat, imagining all the things that could have gone wrong in mere seconds. She reached the crowd gathered at the heart of the disturbance, anxiety creeping into her mind. As she squeezed through, she spotted her oldest, Alex, sitting on the ground, knees pulled to his chest, his face streaked with tears. Jen, her youngest, clutched a teddy bear, wide-eyed and trembling. Relief washed over her like a wave, but it quickly turned to dread when she saw the woman next to them, a stranger holding a half-empty bottle of soda, her face flushed with embarrassment. What happened? Lisa bent down, squatting low to meet Alex's gaze. I was trying to help Jen, he stammered, eyes darting toward the woman. The lady knocked into her. The woman glanced at Lisa, her expression a mix of guilt and frustration. I'm sorry, she said, her voice shaky. I didn't mean to. It was an accident. Lisa nodded, focusing all her attention back on her kids. It's okay, sweetheart. You're both all right? She wrapped her arms around them, pulling them close. Can we go home? Jen whimpered, her small hands gripping Lisa's shirt, seeking comfort. Not yet, honey. Just a few minutes more, she replied softly, glancing at Tom, who had appeared behind her, concern etched on his face. Everything is fine. Just a little misunderstanding. The market buzzed around her, but in that moment, it felt like they existed in a bubble. She could hear nothing but the soft rhythm of her children's breathing and the fading shouts of the crowd. Lisa took a deep breath, reviving her resolve. It wasn't just about staying strong for her kids anymore. It was about making choices for herself too. Mom, Alex said quietly, breaking her reverie. Is he going to hurt us? Lisa looked into her son's wide eyes, the innocence in them piercing her heart. No, Alex, she replied firmly, glancing again at Tom, who stood awkwardly, hands deep in his pockets. Not anymore. With every word, her emotions twisted. She turned to Tom, her voice steady. I need you to understand something. It's not just about you and me anymore. It's about them. They need to feel safety. They need to know this is behind us. Lisa's determination hung thick in the air, and her words echoed softly but powerfully, rising above the lingering chaos. Tom nodded, his gaze tethered to her, as if searching for some kind of hope in this fractured moment. Just then Sarah, who had been watching from a distance, approached. Everything look okay here? She asked, kneeling next to them. All good, Lisa said, but unease nestled in her chest. Just a little bump in the road. Tom stepped forward, catching Lisa's eye, his expression layered. What if I want to be here for all of you? Really be part of it? Lisa's heart sank, the weight of those words crashing into her like a tidal wave. There it was, the offer she never expected, never dared to hope for. Could she even consider the notion of allowing him back into their lives? And if she did, what would that mean for what they had built? Let us just take it one step at a time, she replied, feeling the cautious hope stir deep within her. And yet, as she hugged her children tight, she wondered if she was ready to take that leap of faith, or if the past would always shroud their future in shadows. Can we go home? Jen asked again, her small voice cutting through the noise of uncertainty and that fragile moment. Lisa felt everything hanging in the balance. Home. Could it still be a safe haven amidst the turbulence? But before she could respond, the market erupted with a louder clap of thunder. The rumble of a storm approaching on the horizon. The clouds gathered ominously above, dark and heavy, as the distant thunder rolled. The market's vibrant atmosphere shifted, a collective unease settling over those present. Lisa felt the energy palpably change, looming like the storm that was soon to break above them. Her children felt it too. Jen pressed closer, her tiny frame trembling slightly. Alex clenched his fists, vulnerability radiating from his every pore. They were scared, and in that moment, all Lisa wanted to do was protect them. "All right, let us move away from here," she urged, lifting Jen into her arms, while Alex matched her steps closely. Tom followed a few paces behind, his previous determination now clouded with uncertainty. He wasn't sure how to fit into this new reality Lisa was beginning to carve out for them. "Mom," Alex said, glancing back at Tom. "Is he coming home with us?" Lisa hesitated, her heart flickering between instinctual fear and the ember of hope she had just ignited. "He needs to show he can be trusted first," she replied, feeling the weight of responsibility settle firmly on her shoulders. Passing through the crowd, Lisa could feel the gazes of neighbors and friends brushing over them, questions lingering in the air. What if the past wasn't as far behind them as she hoped? Suddenly, a bolt of lightning split the sky, illuminating everything in a harsh white light before thunder cracked overhead. It sent a ripple of fear through the market-goers. People began to scatter, seeking shelter or running for their cars. With no time to waste, Lisa hurried towards the nearby cafe, a cozy space she knew had always welcomed families. As they rushed inside, warmth enveloped them. The familiar scent of freshly brewed coffee pricked at her senses, offering a moment of solace amid the chaos. They found a corner booth, and Lisa set Jen down gently, brushing her hair back. "Let us stay here until the storm passes," she said, trying to ease the tension in the air. The cafe was dimly lit, filled with the soothing hum of conversation, but for Lisa, it felt like a temporary sanctuary. Tom entered a moment later, water beaded on his brow. He looked at Lisa, his expression heavy with unspoken questions. "I didn't mean to bring this back into your life," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "Life happens, Tom," she replied, the edge of frustration creeping into her tone. "But it's different now. It's not just us anymore." Before he could respond, Jenna's small voice broke through the tension. "Mom, will the storm hurt us?" Lisa felt a familiar pang, seeing her daughter's worry. "No, sweetie. Storms can be scary, but they don't last forever. Just like our problems, we can weather this and come out stronger. Will you?" Tom's eyes bore into hers, seeking reassurance. Lisa hesitated, torn between fears of what he could bring into their lives and the hope he hinted at. "You need to show me you can be here for us," she said, finally, voice steady. "And that means proving you've changed. It's time for action, not just words." Tom lowered his gaze, understanding the gravity of her demand. Outside, the rain began to pour, drumming against the windows, a steady rhythm that mirrored her racing heart. In that moment, the flicker of hope she felt earlier dimmed slightly, replaced by the weight of uncertainty. As she sat there, surrounded by her children, lost in her thoughts, she wondered if she had the strength to believe in this potential transformation once more. After everything they had endured, could she truly allow any part of Tom back into their lives? The cafe hummed around them, a life in motion, but for Lisa, time felt suspended. She looked at her kids, saw their need for stability, and made a decision in her heart. Yet, just as she opened her mouth to speak, the lights flickered, plunging them momentarily into darkness. "Hurry up, let us get out," someone shouted from across the room, panic rising amidst the sound of the storm. There it was, another reminder of their tumultuous path ahead. In that moment, she realized the storm outside wasn't just weather, it was everything they had endured. And it wasn't over yet. "Tom," she started, her voice shaky, but then her heart raced as another thunderous boom echoed through the air, making her throat tighten. What awaited them next wasn't just a problem to solve. It was about facing their futures together, whatever that might bring. And as the storm raged on, Lisa had to consider the deepest question of all. Could they really find the calm after the storm? The lights flickered back to life, casting a soft glow over the anxious faces in the cafe. Lisa felt a swell of determination. She turned to her children, who were clutching each other tightly. Their expressions mirrored her fear, and she wished she could shield them from every storm, literal and metaphorical. "Let us stay put for a moment," she said softly, squeezing Jen's small hand. "The worst is usually over after a few loud booms." But even as she spoke, doubt crept into her mind like the creeping shadows outside. What if Tom's presence was the real storm? Was she ready to navigate through that chaos yet again, especially with her children depending on her? Across the table, Tom sat silently, his hands clenching and unclenching on the tabletop. The weight of a million unspoken words hung between them. Lisa was sure he felt it too. The past and present colliding in that cramped booth as thunder rolled ominously outside. "Lisa," he finally broke the silence, his voice low and urgent. "I know I messed things up. I know that trust doesn't just come back the moment I walk in. But I've changed." The tone in his voice sent a shudder down her spine. "Please," she thought. "Let this not be another empty promise. Talk to me, Tom," Lisa pressed, her voice steady despite the turbulence inside her heart. "What does that mean? How can you prove that you're someone we can count on?" He leaned in closer, his eyes searching hers. "I've been doing a lot of thinking. I've realized that I need to be better, not just for me but for you and the kids. It's not enough to want to be a part of your lives. I need to show you that I can actually be there." Lisa wanted to believe him, but belief felt like a fragile thing, barely holding together beneath the weight of their shared history. "Actions speak louder than words," she murmured, recalling how he once made promises that shattered like glass outside. The rain lashed against the windows with such ferocity that it resembled the beating of her heart, a constant reminder of uncertainty. Would it truly end? Would they find a way through the storm together? "Hey," Alex's voice interrupted her thoughts. "Can we get hot chocolate? It always helps when it's stormy." Jen's face brightened at the idea, and for a fleeting moment Lisa smiled. It was these small joys that anchored her to the present, gave her hope in the face of upheaval. "Okay," she relented, rising to tackle the cafe's menu. "You two stay put. I'll be right back." As she walked to the counter, she could feel Tom's cautious eyes following her. With each step away from the table, the gravity of her decision hit her harder. What if this was a mistake? Could she truly let him back into this carefully curated world of hers? She forced those thoughts away, focusing instead on making the right choices for her kids. It was always about them. When the steaming cups were in hand, she returned to the table. "Just like old times, huh?" she said lightly, attempting to break the tension, but as she looked up, the cafe door burst open, revealing a frantic man soaked to the bone. "Is everyone okay?" His eyes darted around the room, panic evident as he tried to gauge the situation. The storm outside raged, but within the cafe, they all felt another brewing storm. One that could unravel everything Lisa fought so hard to protect. "Mom?" Jen's small voice trembled. Suddenly, Lisa understood that the storm wasn't just outside. It lived in every choice she made, every thread connecting her past and present. What would she choose next? Would she weather this new storm, or would she allow herself to be swept away once more? As fear and hope intertwined, she realized the stakes had never been higher. And just as she was about to respond, the lights flickered again, leaving them in a moment of darkness. The sudden darkness enveloped the cafe, swallowing all conversation and laughter. Lisa's heart raced as she peered into the shadows, adrenaline coursing through her veins. She felt a sharp tug at her sleeve. Jen, her eyes wide with fear, her grip firm. "It's okay," Lisa said, her voice steady though she felt anything but. "It's just a little power outage. I'm here." But even as she tried to reassure her daughter, dread gnawed at her insides. The loud storm outside had shaken loose something inside her, but the complete darkness added an eeriness she couldn't shake. "Mom?" Alex whispered from the other side of the table. "Can you still see us?" "I'm right here, buddy," she said, trying to keep the tremor from her voice. She set the hot chocolate down carefully, and the sound of porcelain meeting would somehow made the silence feel more immense. "Are we going to be okay?" Jen asked, her small voice full of vulnerability. The question hit Lisa like a punch to the gut. She knew the answer, but speaking it felt impossible. "Yes, Jen. We're going to be okay," she replied, forcing the words through a throat that felt tight. The cafe erupted in murmurs, the chaotic sounds of anxious conversations circling like the wind outside. Lisa turned to Tom, his figure shrouded in uncertainty, just like everything else in her life. What are we going to do? He cleared his throat. I think we just need to sit tight. Let the storm pass. We didn't come this far to fall apart now. She nodded, yet his reassurance felt hollow. Did he really understand the storm within her? The very fabric of their lives felt saturated with unsaid fears, the past looming like a dark cloud ready to unleash itself. The lights flickered back to life again, illuminating the cafe and pulses like the anxious thumping of Lisa's heart. The chaos returned to normal, but her feelings remained in turmoil. She could see the anxious faces surrounding them, their expressions dictated by their own storms. Then, a voice broke through the noise, the frantic man from before. There's an accident on the highway. He shouted, breathing hard. Some folks are stranded. We should help them. Lisa's mind raced. The storm was opening up a reality far greater than her own. People in need were outside, battling an entirely different kind of turmoil. A small fire ignited inside her, a sense of purpose awakening. Tom, she said, her voice rising above the din. You should go help. He looked at her, surprise flickering in his eyes. You want me to go out there? I want you to show the kids that you're willing to be part of something bigger than just us. You said you've changed, she pushed, her heart aching with each word. Mom, Jen's voice broke through the moment. What if it's dangerous? It's like a storm, sweetie. Lisa knelt down to meet her daughter's gaze. Sometimes we have to brave the rough winds to find sunshine. We can help. Tom hesitated, caught between the fear that had gripped him and the resolve that Lisa seemed to ignite in him. She could see it in his eyes. He wanted to rise, to fight, to become someone better. Okay, he finally said, a quiet strength filling his voice. I'll go. As Tom slipped out into the rain-soaked world beyond, Lisa felt a swirl of emotions: hope, fear, uncertainty. With Tom exposed to the unpredictable elements outside, she stared out at the pouring rain, wondering about his transformation. Yet something more stirred within her. Who was she if not a protector? What would she do while Tom was out there? Alex's small hand found her own, grounding her as the cafe buzzed with newfound energy. They were all in this together. The storm rattled the windows once more, but this time something deep inside Lisa felt a flicker of light. Perhaps within chaos lay connection, within the storm an opportunity. But as she glanced back out, watching for Tom's return, the howling wind brought a thought, a pulse of curiosity to her heart. What if the storm outside held revelations that changed everything? The world wasn't just a storm to survive. It was also a chance to grow, to become something new while old scars healed. What truths awaited as they faced the next reckoning? What would they uncover about themselves, and the tether that still bound them? The rain fell heavy, but so did the promise of something greater. The wind howled outside, flinging sheets of rain against the cafe windows like a wild beast trying to break through. Lisa tuned into her surroundings, suddenly aware of the electric energy crackling in the air. The cafe, once a refuge, now felt like a vessel of chaos with words flying and emotions tangled. Mom, what do we do now? Alex asked, peering at her with a mixture of worry and curiosity. His bright eyes searched hers, seeking reassurance. Let us see if anyone else needs us, she suggested, trying to channel her swirling feelings into action. She led Alex and Jen towards the door, every step echoing the weight of the decision she had just made. The sudden gulp of cold air met them as they stepped outside, the cacophony of the storm enveloping them. She could barely make out the stray figures moving in the distance, illuminated by sporadic flashes of lightning. The sounds of the city were muffled by rainfall, but whispers of urgency brushed past her ears. From nearby clusters of concerned patrons, conversations turned frantic. A woman with crooked glasses leaned in close, speaking frantically about the family stranded ahead. Okay, kids. Stay close, Lisa warned, her grip tightening on their hands. Every instinct in her screamed to retreat, to seek safety inside, but she felt compelled to press on. As they navigated through puddles and gusts of wind, Lisa caught sight of Tom, good-hearted and brave, moving towards a cluster of vehicles. He was soaked to the bone, but determination blazed in his eyes. For a brief moment, she felt an unsettling mix of pride and fear. Mom! Look! Jen pointed. A car was stuck in the slick mud beside the road, its back wheels just spinning uselessly, sending mud slapping against its sleek surface. "Let us help them," Lisa said, the impulse sizzling through her veins. As they moved closer, Lisa could see the family inside, their faces pale and anxious. A father held a baby in his arms, worry etched across his brow, while an older girl sat with her knees pulled up to her chest, staring at the door as though it were the only barrier between them and disaster. "It's okay," Lisa called out, using her voice to bridge the gap. "We're here to help." The tension in the air shifted, if only slightly. The father cracked a small, grateful smile as he tentatively opened the door. "Thank you," he shouted, his voice nearly swallowed by the storm. "We've been stuck for too long." With each step closer, the reality of the situation dawned on Lisa. She wasn't just stepping outside her own fears, but stepping toward someone else's urgent need. The weight of her own burden began to lessen, replaced by hope and connection. Jen and Alex rushed to help the girl out of the vehicle, their innate compassion blossoming in the face of adversity. Lisa had always wished to teach her kids the value of kindness, but witnessing it unfold before her was breathtaking. Tom returned, arms full of branches and debris he gathered for leverage. "We need to create a ramp," he shouted, his eyes shining with a new sense of purpose. The teamwork felt electric, each person's contributions weaving them together in a fragile fabric of community. As they worked under the stormy sky, laughter and belief started to pierce through the air like sunshine breaking through dark clouds. Just then, another voice rang out, muffled yet familiar. "Lisa, it's me." She turned to see Sarah, an old friend from her high school years. The last time she had seen her, life was easier, friendship simpler. But here they were, under storm clouds, connected again by necessity. "What are you doing here?" Lisa asked, her eyes widening as unexpected joy flooded her chest. "I left my old life behind. I thought maybe I'd find what I'm missing just as this storm hit." "Seems to have put things into perspective," Sarah admitted, her infectious energy warming Lisa against the chill. "Can you believe it?" Lisa felt a stirring hope, wondering if Sarah would be part of the answer she didn't know she was seeking. As they pulled together for this moment, heartbeats synchronizing with the tumult of the rain, she realized that their journeys were far from over. What else awaited them in the wake of this storm? Would the connection they forged lead to deeper truths about their lives and choices? With every gust of wind, new beginnings whispered around them, urging her to take a leap, and she would. She had to find out. The storm raged on, its fury reflected in Lisa's heart as she stood there amidst the chaos, every fierce wind gust urging her to embrace the swirling uncertainty around her. This was more than just a storm. It was a moment of clarity. She caught sight of Tom, the man she had both loathed and longed for, working tirelessly alongside her children. Their small hands pushed against the mud, transforming fear into action, and for the first time in years, she felt a potential for redemption both for him and for themselves. "Let us go, we can do this," she called to her kids, her voice rising above the storm. The sincerity in her tone sparked an infectious determination. All around them, unfamiliar faces morphed from uncertainty into gratitude. The father in the car gripped his baby tighter, an understanding reflected in his gaze. They were all in this moment together, united in struggle and hope as they crafted a makeshift ramp of branches and debris. Lisa felt the weight of years of bitterness and hurt starting to lift. Each shove of mud her children pushed back felt like a step toward reclaiming their family's narrative, not just theirs alone, but of every kind soul caught in life's unpredictable storms. "You've got this," Tom yelled to the kids, chucking a branch toward them and breaking his own barriers down in the process. And just as she saw a flicker of promise in the storm outside, she saw it mirrored in Tom's eyes. Every effort he exerted looked like a vow. "I'll be here. I'll show up." It felt dangerous yet freeing, standing at the edge of a precipice, and taking that leap felt as reckless as the wind, but it also felt profoundly right. With the last of the ramps secured, Lisa turned to the anxious family in the car. "On 3 we'll all pull together, okay?" Together they counted down, and with a mighty heave fueled by shared determination, the car lurched forward, dislodged from its muddy prison. Joy erupted, laughter mingling with the storm's roar. And in that ecstatic moment, Lisa realized something vital. Community wasn't just about proximity. It was about shared burdens and collective triumphs. The newfound camaraderie passed between the stranded family and their makeshift rescuers. They embraced and thanked each other, the gratitude tangible. But more importantly, within that partnership, Lisa felt a seed of forgiveness germinating in her heart both toward Tom and toward herself. "Mom, did you see that?" Alex exclaimed, eyes wide, disbelief and triumph dancing on his face. There was a radiating purity in his excitement that ignited a sparkle in Lisa's heart. Maybe, just maybe, forgiveness would mean giving her father a chance. For her kids, for their shared history, and for the chance to finally move forward. As the rain slowed to a steady patter, Tom approached her, still drenched but glowing with pride. "You were incredible, Lisa." His voice held a weight that spoke of newfound respect and understanding. "I want to keep helping if you'll let me." Her heart wavered, the caution of a mother protecting her young stirring within her. "I need to know that this isn't just words anymore," she replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "Can you do that?" "More than anything," he replied, sincerity gleaming in his eyes. "Tell me how." In that moment everything shifted. They were no longer father and daughter shrouded in the past. They stood as two souls fighting to reclaim their futures together. Not just for themselves but for the children that hovered nearby, brimming with hope and expectation. Lisa felt the tears welling up as she watched her kids approach Tom. Their smiles pure and innocent. They didn't know the turmoil of their shared history, only the storm of love and perseverance that brought them this far. Her heart swelled with raw, unfiltered emotion as she wrapped her arms around her children, feeling a fierce love that shielded them from the outside world. "Let us start fresh," she whispered, her voice breaking, her heart open. "Let us truly be a family." Tom stepped forward, extending his hand. Lisa hesitated for just a moment, then took it without reservation. It was the bridge they needed to begin anew. Outside, the clouds began to part, letting beams of sunlight peek through once more, illuminating the chaos washed clean. The storm had birthed something beautiful, a chance for a new beginning. As they gathered their makeshift rescue team of neighbors and the family they helped, Lisa glimpsed the world anew. Life had thrown chaos their way, but together, they could rise above what had been and embrace what could be a vibrant future forged through resilience, honor, and love. And Maple Grove. The storm had passed. But in its wake stood Lisa, Tom, and two hopeful kids united in a promise of forgiveness and new adventures. They would face the world together, stronger than before and ready to embrace all the joy waiting on the other side of a storm. Now take action. You need to subscribe now to never miss these exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support and help grow our community. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the positivity spreading. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this emotional journey, and share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this incredible transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to help us inspire others.